Hi, I'm Julie. Welcome to your self yoga for menopause. And in today's short video, we are practicing yin yoga for mental fatigue. Menopause is exhausting. It can be overwhelming mentally and physically. So we're going to clear out all the clutter so we can stimulate our center of intuition, that inner knowing, that sense of perspective and mental clarity. So meet me on the mat, let's get started. So we're going to start in a tabletop position for our first pose, one of 3 poses, that's all. Why? Because in yin, we hold the pose for longer. We're bypassing muscles, we are targeting connective tissues. They're like a spider's web running all around the joints, and it's those tissues, when they dry out in menopause, they impede our mobility. So we're going to start tabletop and we're going to go into puppy pose, and make sure in your tabletop that your hips are above your knees, your shoulders above your wrists, and your knees are as wide as your hips and your hands are as wide as your shoulders. From here, you're going to walk the hands forwards, keeping them wide, and then gently lower down towards the mat. Now the aim is to bring the forehead down to the mat. But if you have an ample chest or your tummy is in the way, grab hold of a yoga bolster or a pillow and use this to bring the mat up to you. So again, walking down, and then resting your forehead down on the mat. Okay, so find what works for you. You need to make it as comfortable as possible because you're staying in the pose for 3 minutes. And with your head either on the mat, forehead on the mat, or on the bolster or pillow, take a deep inhale. Exhale out through the mouth. One more, inhale. Exhale in. And we're going to stay in this position for a few minutes. I'm just going to set my timer. And yin is all about trying to find comfort in discomfort and letting go. But here's the thing, with our forehead on the mat or resting on a support, we're able to really kind of ground and connect to the present moment. Maybe even just move the forehead from side to side and stimulate our third eye chakra. And we all know that third eye is the center of our intuition, that gut feeling, that inner knowing, that sense of knowing before facts have even confirmed something, a sense of right, a sense of wrong, a sense of yes, a sense of no. And in menopause, it often gets drowned out because we become so overwhelmed, exhausted, fatigued. We don't have that mental clarity, a little bit like brain fog. So by stimulating, resting the forehead on the mat, we can stimulate that chakra, that energy center for intuition. Notice where it feels tight, where you're holding on, and just try to soften with the breath. Trying to let go instead of thinking what's uncomfortable, how long have we got. Just try to focus on the breath. And yin is so beneficial at this stage of life because it allows us to achieve change in the body, stretching the connective tissues, helping our joints, calming our mind, whilst doing very, very little to achieve that. Very, very little movement, a very passive practice. which matches our energy levels at times. And take one deep inhale. Exhale out through the mouth. And then very, very slowly bringing yourself, sliding your hands back up. And then I just want you to walk the knees back, lower the hips, lower the chest, and then make a pillow with both hands and rest your forehead on your arm. And this is crocodile pose. I just want you to stay here for a few breaths and notice yin often leaves us with a creeping effect, like tingling sensations in the areas where the tissues have been stretched. Just check in and see how it feels. And it's not uncommon to feel a little bit numb when you come out of a pose, when you've held an area of the body for a while. And then very, very slowly, we're going to come on to our forearms. So forearms out in front of you, arms as wide as your shoulders, maybe a little bit wider, and the elbow just a little bit ahead of the shoulder. Slide the blades down the back so you can bring yourself up nice and high. And this is our Sphinx pose. This is another yin pose, which really opens up the chest, and you can see it's a mini back bend. You can see the slope and the arch on the back here. Okay, really kind of press in, find that pelvic bone and really root into the mat. And again, we want to rest our forehead. Okay, so bring a yoga block in front of you so you can just drop the head down and rest the forehead. Why? Because we want to stimulate this mental clarity. So take a deep inhale, exhale out through the mouth, inhale through the nose, exhale out through the mouth. And for our first pose, our affirmation was, I trust all the answers are within me. I trust all the answers are within me. And very often they are. We spend so long searching, analysing, looking for solutions, ways to feel better. And the path ahead and the decisions we need to take are often right under our nose, almost like we knew all along. And that's that inner knowing. Someone once described it as knowing whether something is right or wrong instantly before you hear the facts. And that's that gut feel, that hunch that you get, and you know which way to go. Again, notice here, where are you holding on to any tension? See if you can use the breath to soften it, release. I used to remember as a child watching TV in this position, and it was comfortable then, and it's actually such a great position, maybe not as comfortable now we're older, but it's such a great position for the back, really opening up the spine, bringing the chest forward. Keep breathing into any discomfort, trying to soften it, just trying to find comfort in discomfort. And using this block to stimulate that third eye chakra. It's the 6th of 7 chakras, energy centers that are located throughout the body, running in a vertical line, and it's like a vortex of spinning energy, the center of our intuition. Now, if you like, you can just lower the block down, take the hands to the outer edges of the mat, and you can bring yourself up into seal pose. This is a much deeper back bend. If it's too much, you can drop back down into Sphinx, and we're just going to stay here for 1 minute and just see if we can deepen that back bend, pressing into that pubic bone. And maybe we can use the block on its highest setting and just drop the head, support the head, and connect the forehead to this block, this grounding surface. And then very, very slowly come onto the forehand. Just move the block away from you and then make a pillow with your hands. And turn your head towards the right. I want you now to slide the right leg at a right angle up beside you, just releasing the lower back. Remember, we've been compressing it as we've been in our back bend. And this is like a little half frog pose. Nice and soothing after Sphinx and seal. And notice any creeping sensations. And it's okay if you don't. We don't always. And notice how your mind feels at the moment. Whether you're gaining a little bit more clarity or a fresher perspective. We come to the mat with all our issues and troubles, and often we leave having dissolved them. And then slide that leg back down to center, turn the head to the left, slide the left leg at a right angle next to the body. It's a very, very soothing practice, Yin. And if it's your first time practicing, I hope you're enjoying it. It takes some getting used to, but it's so beneficial in menopause, mind and body. And now bring your head back to center. Bring your hands underneath your chest. Gently push yourself up onto your knees. And then you're going to come into a seated position. I'm going to face you for this one. And we're going to sit with our legs as wide as we can, as comfortable as we can. So, and I want you to grab hold of your bolster or your pillow. And this is dragonfly pose. And we're basically going to take a deep inhale and then we're going to walk our hands forwards and you'll feel this stretch on the inner groin. So if they're too wide, just bring them in a little bit. You have to find what works for you, and obviously everybody's different. You're going to bring yourself down. Now, this is too low for me, so I'm going to use a block on top because I want to rest my forehead. Remember, we're stimulating this center of intuition. So maybe you raise yourself up and you can either do it on top or you can do it underneath. Okay, so find a position that works for you where you are
Reaching forward, releasing all the lower back. You can feel the stretch in the groin and stretch in the spine. And then when you're ready, take a deep inhale. Exhaling through the mouth. One more. Inhale. Exhale. And remember, in yin, it's not like traditional yoga where alignment has to be precision perfect. Yin, we can round the spine. We can create a shape that suits us in the pose, which is great. Everybody is different and every body is different. So it's all about finding that comfort, that position, that place where we can rest. So I'm just going to set my timer. So we're just going to have a couple of minutes here. And I'm just going to grab this paper for our next affirmation, which says, I trust my intuition always. I trust my intuition always. And very often our intuition is right, except we bypass it by analysing, questioning, considering, and the mind often works overtime and it gets pushed aside, this inner knowing. And sometimes we're too afraid to make those decisions, or we're too fearful of facing the consequences. We don't want to deal with it. And by calming the mind, we can leave room for this inner knowing to blossom and come to the fore. So I trust my intuition always. And if you feel you can go deeper at any time, maybe just reach that little bit further forwards, relaxing that groin area, relaxing the knees. And if this pose is completely out of your scope, don't be disheartened. Just do a half dragonfly. Bend one leg, bring one foot into the groin and just keep one outstretched. There are modifications and ways around everything in yoga. Don't feel discouraged. There are many poses that are uncomfortable for me. And if your head's on a block or a support, maybe just roll the forehead from side to side. Massage that third eye chakra. Nice, balancing, soothing, calm. And yin gives us this opportunity to be introspective, to look inwards, to step off life and all its challenges and responsibilities, and just to give ourselves time to ground, anchor, and put things into order. Take a deep inhale. Exhale out through the mouth. And then walk the hands back towards you. Gradually bring yourself up. Remove your block if you have a block. Remove your bolster if you have a bolster. And then I want you to bring the legs together in front of you. Bend the knees. And with your feet firmly on the mat, supporting by your hands,
just windshield wiper from side to side. Just going to bring a little bit of movement back into the hips and the groin. And then bring yourself into a cross-legged position. I'm going to leave you here. If you want to lie down and enjoy a nice relaxing shavasana, a few minutes, honestly, that would be the perfect end. And I'm going to leave you with one more affirmation that says, I bow to my inner wisdom. So the next time you have that gut feel, the next time you're not sure about a decision, tap into that third eye chakra, because it knows. And I'll leave you there. Hope to see you again soon. Namaste.